Hi everyone. This video is about how I was able to pass my OSCP Plus exam in 2025 in just 6 hours with 3 months of lab preparation. And this is gonna be the walkthrough of what I did throughout my preparation and what mistake I did and what mistake you can do so that I can help you not to do the same mistake. So without much delay, let's get started with the video on point. I don't know how long this video is gonna be, but just start with the basics. If you already know about OSCP, you can skip this video to the technical details or the experience part. But for now, if you're just planning to get an OSCP, there is this new uh, package is there in I don't know in like last 2 days there is new this package starting with like $1749, which includes your 2 exam attempts, but it doesn't have your OSCP lab modules and lab instances. So it's just like a standalone machine that you're gonna get without anything. I mean, not lab access. But what I suggest you is to go with the most popular one that is like course plus short exam bundle, which is around 1749 for now. But when I bought, it's like 1650. They increased by $100. So on this one, you'll get a course, you'll get 90 days of lab access, which seems pretty fair enough. I mean, you if you have already a basic skill sets of pen testing, I would say just go with the 3 months. But if you don't have a prior experience, I would suggest you that maybe 3 months of time will not be sufficient for you to pass. I'm gonna say why in later video. And the exam attempts includes 1 exam attempt, and that's it. And it's pretty dull. It's like a much value saving. But if you have already like so certain that you can pass, you can just go with the OSCP plus this new format. That's they give a 2 exam attempt without any standalone. So this is called an OSCP plus standalone exam. So you can go with this one. It includes like 2 exam attempts, and there is no course on this one. So this is all about OSCP, and there is one more thing, like there is an criteria how you can pass. So if you just go with OSCP criteria, there is like this new criteria. Either you can do like 3 standalone machines, 60 point in total, but that is not sufficient to pass. So to pass, you can do like you have to at least get 70 point to pass. So you can either do like complete 80 and 3 local flag, or you can do like complete 80 and 2 local flag and 1 complete exploitation and with 1 with flag. And the one is a partial point from 80 and 3 local and 2 proof. And the one is the partial point from 80 and 3 completely compromised. So what I did is I fully compromised 2 machines and 80 machines, which made me like 80 points to secure and pass the exam. Like 2 local and 2 proof and a 40 complete point from 80. So this is all about the exams. There are specific requirements that you need to do for your exam, like the specific template, the specific OS ID you need to submit and report. So we're gonna come down later part. Okay, on these sections I'll be talking about what things I wish I had known before I take my OSCP exam and take OSCP course. So there was no mentor, there is nothing. It's like everything is self-studied. So once you buy an OSCP module, I will suggest you to at least complete the whole OSCP module. For me, I have like a time constraint. I was working on multiple projects, multiple client, and not getting enough time. So I will suggest that if you know already thing, just skip in a module and just move on. Don't give much time that you already know about this, like a lot of basics things. You just feel like you already know about this stuff. Just skip it and make sure to complete the challenges lab. Like the challenges lab, you can do it anytime, but they suggest to do a module labs first in a challenge lab. But I would suggest just escape through the things that you already know and do important modules lab only, and make sure that you complete all the challenges lab. I was not able to complete all challenges lab because I already have like out of the subscription. I was only able to do like 3 challenge lab, but they're like 6 or 7. I'm not quite remembering right now, and I cannot. I think saw it because of the certification policy and the course policy. But make sure you completed those challenge lab at least. Doesn't matter if you complete module or not, but complete challenges lab. And yeah, for exams, I will suggest you that your node is everything you need. If you have a well organized node, you can just slay an exam. So what I did was I used to make the node on Obsidian. You can see these are my Obsidian ball. I used to have the challenges lab and the exam notes that I was using, and kind of like checklist that I'm gonna perform. So what I'm suggesting you is make sure you make a checklist of what you're gonna perform. Like it could be a recon checklist, right? So in each individual Linux, you have to perform these stuff. No matter if there is, if you found a foothold or initials early during the enumeration, don't skip the enumerations. Just complete the checklist. Make a checklist, your methodology that you're gonna perform. So that's really helped me in my exam to don't miss anything. That helped me to clear my mind to think a broader picture about the exam. And on exam, I will suggest to you to don't think on a single path. Like if you are a red teamer or like bug bounty hunter or like wanna be pen twister, you have to think in a broader. Like if you found a web application page, don't just rush in there. Just look for other ports. There could be an unusual ports that directly give you an exploit and give you an easy access, or maybe just always look for the UDP ports. So make sure you do these basic enumeration first before jumping into the exploitation and that stuff, and make sure to chain up everything. So maybe you're finding in credentials for a machine A, try it on machine B, the same credentials, right? Try to fuzz as much as possible. They spray the password with whatever tool you want, and NXC, crack map, and these things is about what you have to do. I mean, the mistakes that you don't have to do before exam. So I said again, and also want to say it now, that make sure you do those challenges lab, and the most important thing is you organize your notes so well. I suggest to use like Obsidian, because this is what I use. You can also go for Notion, but I heard somewhere that if you use a Notion, they have like an pre-built AI which can conflict your exam policy that you cannot use AI. But these days, these Notions have then pre-built AI, so that could be little risky. So if just to be on the safer side, just go with the Obsidian. If you have like issue with the cloud sync, you can just make a private repo and use a scheduler to regularly push your node on your cloud, like a GitHub or a GitHub repos, right? Well, this section is about the exam day, my experience on exam. So I scheduled my exam for 16th of Feb. I decided to schedule when it was like Valentine weeks. There is no specific reason I decided on that week, but yeah, I scheduled it on 16th of February. So then I, couldn't sleep the last day before exam because I was super anxious and excited, and like there's a lot of mixed emotions and feeling. But I did one mistake. I think I was being like a night owl for last 90 days, like working on a late night, like 4 a.m., 5 a.m. But I don't know why I decided to schedule my exam on 7:30 morning. So I don't say the same. You just settle on your normal wake up time. Don't settle morning. Like if you're waking up on 10 a.m., 9 a.m., just settle around that. But I settled on 7:30. That was a mistake of mine because I thought it will just exhaust you. You should be in a good mood, right? But it's okay. I scheduled it, and when I scheduled in the morning, like we have to do a proctor thing before 15 minutes of the exam starts. So we have to join 15 minutes prior to the exam, and we have to do the checklist. They provide like system checklist, the identity verifications, and a lot of proctoring tools they have. And once I log into the proctor monitoring tool, it seems that my camera, I was having this virtual software in my system. The system's cameras is not opening. My main primary camera is not opening. It's opening some my software camera. And I was panicked because you are not allowed to use any virtual camera in exam. And once I logged in, I just closed the tab and uninstall that camera application and try to log in again. But this time the credentials was not working. It's saying credentials incorrect or something. I thought my exam is gone. It is cancelled because you have to do before like 15 hours of your parent. The exam starts, all the verification and that stuff. I immediately write an email to and OSCP. There is a dedicated email for if something that happens. I emailed them that my credentials is not working, and I restart my system. And again, I was able to log in this time. But surprisingly, this time again, my another virtual camera opens, not my primary. It opened my OBS virtual camera because I was having this OBS for like a YouTube and that stuff. And I again got panicked, and it was already 10 minutes. I wasted my thing, and then I uninstalled my OBS camera, and I logged in again. This time it worked. So I suggest you to uninstall all the third party applications for camera and the software, and also make sure that you don't have any remote desktop softwares on your system, because they're gonna check your all the PS IDs on your system, like primary host, also on your virtual machine. They make you run some script which basically grabs the PS, the processes they're running in a system, and also they check the network if like some spoofing is being done or not. So they have the strict protocol for the exam, and once also you have to identify your identity verification tour and the room tour if there is no electronic device and that stuff. And once you are done, you are ready. They will release your exam. They will give you a VPN package and the instance of OSCP IPs, and a control panel for your exam where you can submit your flag. So if I can show you OSCP exam, uh, just go there. And if you just scroll down a bit, you're gonna see you will have like something like this dashboard where you can submit a flag and within the IP, and it has a detailed description of what you're gonna do, like it's agent root concept, or depending on upon what AD sets you are getting or the whole exam sets you're getting, it says a scenario that what you have to do. And after that, you just pretty much started with the machines. I was having some struggle in. I although have like idea that after performing animations, I have a checklist. I found a initial foothold. I tried to do previous escalation. I struggle a bit because I know there is a vulnerability of XYZ, which is for the previous escalation, but the exploit is not working for somehow. So I suggest you to use, multiple exploit for a same vulnerability. So suppose if you're exploiting some XYZ vulnerability with XYZ exploit, just to try see alternative for the another exploit, right? I'll suggest you to do the same, right? And after a previous escalation, AD was straightforward. I almost pretty much complete my AD set around 4 hours or something, and it was already I think 10, I don't know, 10 or 11 a.m. Then I started doing a Linux box And trust me, it was the easiest machine I have done. Even in track me, it's the easiest machine. I pretty much done in like 20 minutes or something. I don't know, it's maybe less. So already having a root access on the Linux system. So within like 5 hours, like 4 hours or 30 minutes, I was having like a 60 point. I need more 10 points to pass the exam. Then on the last machines, I struggle a bit because it was it was like tricky things for me. Like I haven't thought that in that way, so I had to use a Metasploit for that, because once you use a Metasploit, you're locked in. On the exam, you're only allowed to use Metasploit for any single target, and even it failed, you are locked in. You cannot use the Metasploit again. So I used the Metasploit, and finally, after 1.5 hours, I had like 80 points in my hand. I was already sure that I have enough point to pass. So I took a pretty long break. I had a dinner. I went for a park walk and come back and tried like this last machine, which is seems to be a little bit of different. Like I didn't having like that strong foothold. I tried every possible things in my mind. And yeah, one more thing, you are allowed to take multiple breaks as much as you want in the exam. Just let the proctor know in a chat that you're going for a break, and you don't even have to wait for the response. Just stop a message that I'm going for a break, and you can just leave the room. um and yeah, I was struggling for the last machine, and after a lot of animations, I was not able to explore the last machine, and it was exhausted for me. I feel like I should make a report now with 80 points, because that was more than sufficient point to pass. And I had this official exam report for OSCP. If you just go for OSCP exam report on a web page, you're gonna ended up with the latest this exam report. Or you can just go on reporting requirement, and I use this one, the same template I used for my OSCP, and I start making report. And make sure that you collect each and everything on your Obsidian. Make sure you organize everything, even if it's a failure, even if it's a success. Make sure to document each and everything on your Obsidian, and because that's going to help you on your note taking. So because you have to explain each and everything in report, because you have to present it like a non-technical person is also reading a document. If he has to reproduce vulnerability, how he's going to reproduce? So it doesn't require to give you mitigations, but I'll suggest, because it's in a template. And I had like 46 or 47 pages of my report at the end. And make sure that if you have enough time, you make the report in that exam durations, because when you start making a report and review, you feel like, okay, maybe some POCs are missing. And since the exam is still on, you have this privilege to do the steps again and take the POC, right? And once I have the documented everything, I just it's been like 3 a.m, right, something that around that. I feel like too much sleepy. I played guitar in my room. Like I don't know. I actually proctor, can I play music? And he said yes, go ahead. And I played the guitar and just for refreshment. And at 3:30 a.m. I decided to end my exam, because it was like more than how many, like 18 hours non-stop working. I mean awake, not working, awake for the exam, and I feel pretty much exhausted. Then I decided to end the exam. They ask you to confirm like you really want to end the exam, and once you click on end exam, your exam is over. So that's how my exam was. And one thing I got, you know, um, a little bit confused is the portal I was saying, right? The portal. Oh yeah, let me show you. So suppose 192.168 to 116, 146 and 111 is your IP. Suppose this is a Linux box and you are having two flags, right? A proof and local. So it's not gonna tell you that which hash is right or wrong. You just have to submit it. But suppose if you have a two flag, you have to submit the same flag on the same IP for the proof also, and for your local also. So make sure to submit both the flag on the same IP for your complete proof of exploitation and everything. So that was about the whole walkthrough of my exam. Obviously, I cannot go technically because that was no like out of you might call the rules. So we have to stick in a strict rules. Okay, this section is gonna be a little bit technical details. So you don't have to. I mean, for me, I didn't have to buy a proving ground. The OSCP course module is more than sufficient what it need to pass the exam. The labs and module labs is more than sufficient. I would suggest you highly use a bloodhound and know about the ACL abuse, how to abuse and write all access, generic all access, and you just have to make sure that you're just familiar with the AD tools. So if you don't have like a prior experience in AD, just make sure that you should know how a AD works, the AD environment, what is domain administrator, and what's the relation, the trust, and everything. So if once you know, you can just chain your attack so well that it doesn't it's just like you're seeing a broader picture and you already have everything in the mindset. So for that, Bloodhound is a well organized thing, and what I suggest you is you just use some custom queries in Bloodhound. I would highly suggest you to use. If you don't have a custom queries of Bloodhound, I had made a custom queries for Bloodhound. You can just go to my repo and there you go. So this is like a custom Bloodhound queries I made. There is an exact step how you can use it. So I will highly suggest you to use some custom Bloodhound queries and know about how to abuse any ACLs again, and spray password as much as possible. Once you find a password, just spray it. Just collect all the usernames and also focus on pipe building. I read some blogs, they found some issues in pipe building. Doesn't matter what you use, Legolo or Sigil like on a module. I use Sigil because I pretty much give a lot of times on Sigil and pipe building, like a whole 15 days on pipe building only. So it was no a big problem for me in exam. And what more technical details I can give? Well, maybe just keep things simple. Don't overcomplicate it. I mean, once you have a good methodology of what you're gonna perform, the recall and the exact steps, make sure that you simplify the things. I mean, just imagine you found a same thing that a multiple tool can do, right? So suppose for pivoting you can use Legolo and Sigil. So if you are already good at Legolo, just stick with Legolo and just experiment about Sigil, right? You don't have to overcomplicate that learning things and just wasting your time. Just master any tool and just know how to use to its advanced level. And some tools I mostly use like manual tools. Again, our technical details could be I really must not dependent on this script automated scripts, not in that automated, the automated scripts like Limpies, WinPeas, Power Up, right? These privilege escalation tools, most of the time I used to run it on the background, the scripts for privilege escalation, but I never had to look it up because everything I found for privilege escalation, every abuse, it was all manual. Trust me, guys. Just look for the folders, just look for unusual files or config files. You can find some hard coded credentials I mean, just have a presence of mind, and just I would say just have a, don't pressure. I mean, it's exam is all about pressure. If you have a much pressure, you are forced to not see a broader picture, right? So just keep calm and see the broader picture. Just try to chain up the things. Maybe that credentials I found in that machine could be used here, or maybe for Samba pod, or maybe that credentials is used for the NX6 script to fetch the password. And for Linux, and not for Linux only, for every other machines, just try some default password. I mean, trust me, guys, it's super easy than you think. Once you just figure out the things. I mean, don't overcomplicate. Don't depend on much on exploits and searching exploits. I mean, there are searching exploits, but not solely depend on that. Just do manual things first, and look for all the ports. Try default ports, and check for these SUID binaries. Um, and spray much as possible. Spray password. Try to crack the hash. And that much of technical detail is a video I can say, because maybe I'll release in my notes on GitHub, so that you can find more technical notes and the exact methodology stuff I had used for my Active Directory, and not Active Directory, for the whole OSCP Plus exam. And I know this video is a bit long, but it was needed, guys. So hope you enjoyed the video. I don't know, I'm not video editor, but I'll try to keep it raw as possible. And see ya, guys, and all the best for your OSCP Plus.